Sorry our previous meeting ran long. We're going to start about a minute late. And at this time, I call this meeting to order. And we have a few guests, and so I'm going to work down the list. Representative Carl Newton, would you like to introduce your guest?
Yes. This is my cousin, Jane Nicholson, with me today.
Thank you. Governor's Office, Bailey Williams is here with us. Hi, Bailey. County Representative Gene Wallace. Randy. Thank you. Randy Robinson. John Cox with the Trust. Bobby Stem, I don't know who that is. Hi, Bobby. And Secretaries Ridley and Patterson are both here today. Where's Gary? Oh, hi, Gary. All right, Secretary Gatz, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I want to quickly, and we talked a little bit about it last commission meeting, but Shelley wasn't able to be here with us. I want to acknowledge Shelley as our new Director of Finance and Administration formally, with her present at the meeting. And really, in her capacity as the Director of Finance and Administration, she'll also serve as our Chief Financial Officer. We're really, really glad to have Shelley with us at the executive staff table, and we are so fortunate to have her as a part of the ODOT team. So just wanted to make that formal announcement and acknowledge her with her in the room. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. When I first interviewed for the finance manager in 1999, I mentioned in the interview that I was looking for a challenge. And if you ever do that in the room with Mr. Patterson, you know what you're going to get there. So I've been here getting those challenges ever since. And my mom always said, careful what you ask for, you just might get it. So anyway, over the years, I've been able to work through many of those challenges, becoming the comptroller and being assigned the programs division, and now as the Director of Finance and CFO. And I have some pretty big shoes to fill, and I appreciate following after Patterson and Hewlin as the former CFOs, and want to say thank you to them for all of their training and mentoring over the years. And I'm humbled and honored to work with Tim Gatz and Don Sullivan and the senior staff's team, and work for the Department of Transportation, and look for many more challenges to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Coburn. Mr. Grimsley. Mr. Freimiller. Mr. Shannon. Mr. McCown.
Here.
Mr. Dyson.
Here.
Mr. Alexander. Here. Mr. LaForge. Here. Mr. Peterson.
Here. Will the Secretary of the Commission present the meeting? Thank you. The next item is number 133, is approval of minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on September 3rd. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? I call for a vote. Okay, it's unanimous. With the items number 134 and 135 are to be presented by the Commission Chair. And these items are have been discussed in meetings that are for information only. Is there anyone that would like to pull an item on the consent docket? If not, I ask for recommendation for approval.
I'll make a motion we approve
Second.
All in favor? Please cast a vote. Item number 136.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 136, I have one programming item this month. It's Payne County and Commission District 4. Department requests approval to program a project to repair vehicle impact damage to the I-35 southbound bridge over State Highway 51. The estimated cost of this project is $600,000, and we should have it ready for a November 2019 letting. The party responsible for the damage is known. Try to answer any questions, and approval is recommended. Typically, if they have the insurance, we'll go ahead and turn it over to general counsel, and they'll go take care of that.
Is
Yes,
it a
sir.
trucking operation or a passenger car?
That one was probably a trucking as well. Steve, are you? Dump truck.
Okay, all right, so they should have the coverage.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Good question.
Second?
Okay. Thank you. Item 137, engineering contracts. I have 7 of those this month. Part A is in Oklahoma County in District 4. We selected HNTB Corporation to prepare construction plans for the I-44 over the UP Railroad. The total not to exceed amount is $935,540. This project is in the 8-year construction work plan, scheduled for a letting of 2026. Part B is Beckham County in District 5. We've selected MacArthur Associated Consultants to prepare the construction plans for I-40. These are 2 locations at Turkey Creek and one at Sand Creek. Total not to exceed amount is $819,167. This project is as well in the 8-year construction work plan to be let in federal fiscal year 2025. Part C in Dewey County in District 5. Excuse me. We have selected Grossman and Keith Engineering Company to prepare the plans for US 60. This is a bridge and approach over Camp and Deep Creeks. Total not to exceed amount is $673,890. This project is also included in the 8-year construction plan for FY 2025. Part D is Tulsa County in District 8. We've selected EST to do the plans for the US 169 south to west ramp over I-244. Total not to exceed amount is $829,585. Project is in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2022. Parts E, F, and G, if you have the Google map in front of you, okay, this is what I'm going to be referring to, help you if you have any questions. First of all, the blue section in the middle of the interchange, plus the orange Union Avenue going north and south, and the 33rd Street Bridge, those are part of the infra grant that we currently have. It's for $45 million. That is work package 1, and that's been currently being designed, and that's going to be scheduled for a 2020 let. But this one is the package 2 and 5. We've selected Benham Design to prepare the plans for the packages 2 and 5, which are the magenta color and the green color on your map. Total not to exceed amount is $6,589,115. These 2 projects, along with the right-of-way and utilities for all 3 of these projects, meaning E, F, and G, that's on the commission item agenda today. Part F is Tulsa County in District 8. This is package 3, the orange colored project in the southwest or southeast quadrant. We've selected Poe and Associates to do the plans for this section. Total not to exceed amount is $3,430,510. This project is not currently in the 8-year construction work plan, but F and G both have to be designed so we can go ahead and do the right-of-way and utilities for the whole interchange. And then finally, Part G is also in Division 8 with Garver and Associates. It's the yellow contract, as you see there. This total not to exceed amount is $1,573,615, and this one is currently not in the work plan as well. Approval is recommended, and I'll try to answer any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions?
Who designed work package 1, Tim?
Garver Engineered?
Has that already been approved?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So this is the remaining work for that,
Correct.
okay. And is G in the 8-year plan?
No, sir, it is not currently.
Neither F nor G? Okay.
Correct. But I would assume that in the next 8-year programs, that's what we'll be working on. Good question, sir.
Is this not one of the oldest and most heavily used intersections in the state?
Yeah, the I-44 section at this location is probably one of the oldest that we still need to do some work on in the Tulsa metro area. And I think prior to that one was way over on the east side of 193rd, if I remember correctly. So yes, we need to, this is the oldest, and we need to get this one resolved as well. Good question, sir.
When you come from western Oklahoma, and you don't go through there very often, you really have to pay attention. You
Yes, sir.
get lost on this older one. Hope it's improved. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? You've heard the presentation. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? It passed by a vote of 6.
Okay.
You can go on, if you would, to
All right.
item number 138.
Thank you. I have engineering contract supplements. I have 3 of those this month. Part A is our statewide on-demand state bridge rehabilitation. We are going to increase the supplement contract with Friesen Nichols for $250,000. Part B is in Curtin County in District 2. This is with MacArthur Associated Consultants to do the final design plans for State Highway 3. Supplement not to exceed amount is $123,998. And this project is in the 8-year construction work plan to be let in 2020 and 2024. Those are 2 projects, job piece numbers. And finally, Part C in Cleveland County in District 3. We've previously selected EST to do the preliminary engineering for a corridor study on I-35. Supplement not to exceed amount is $2,999,254.32. Approval is recommended, and I'll try to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions? You've heard the proposal. Do I hear a motion?
Make motion to be approved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor of vote? Okay. Passed by a vote of
Thank you,
6.
gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Item number 139 is the change orders with cumulative totals of less than $75,000. Mr. Leonard will present those. This is a it's not a voting item.
Correct. Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item 139, parts A through double B. These are the change orders on projects that have a cumulative total of change orders of $75,000 or less. No action is necessary, but I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the commission? Those were reviewed this morning in the earlier meeting. You would go to the change orders to greater than 75,000.
All right, item number 140, parts A through double S. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than 75,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Chairman, we've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, got 7 votes on that one. Okay, item number 141. It's letting items by Mr. Hackney.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 141 consists of the proposed bid openings for the tentative January 2020 and the tentative February 2020. Approval is recommended.
Any questions from the commission? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
The vote? Item number 142, the 2020 budget revisions by Mrs. Helms.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Agenda item 142 has 6 parts, parts A through F. Part A is an increase to the federal share of capital outlays utilizing federal carryover, $83 million. Part B is a state share capital outlays using state funding carryover of $90 million. Part C is an increase in the maintenance program of $22 million, also with state funds carryover. Part D is a rebudgeting of prior year reserves of $90 million for the right-of-way projects. And Part E is an increase to the county improvement in roads and bridges fund in the amount of $7 million with carryover curb state funds. Part F is an increase in the county equipment fund for $700,000 utilizing lease revenue where the actual exceeds the estimate. The department requests and recommends approval of this item.
Any questions from the council, commission? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Item number 143 is a settlement for damage to the state property.
Agenda
you're-
item 143 has 3 parts. Each one of them is a settlement for damages for state property, and the department requests and recommends approval of this item.
Are there any questions on item 143? Do I hear a vote, a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Vote? Thank you very much. And next is item 144. Mr. Dels will present the awards.
Morning, Commissioners. Item 144 will be our recommendations for awards. I'm going to do it in 2 parts. Part A is in regard to a project that we deferred last month. The following item, referred to by call order, was deferred from the August 22nd bid opening. It is now recommended that this item be rejected, and that was call order 459. And Part B is our recommendations from the September 19th bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the September 19th bid opening, referred to by call order, be awarded. It's call order 700, 722, 725, 735, 770, 795, 800, 805, 810, 815, 826, 827, 835, 840, 855, 860, 870, 875, 877, 880, and 900. It is recommended that the following items from the September 19th bid opening, referred to by call order, be rejected, and that's call order 705, 710, 775, and 825. This concludes our recommendations, and your approval is requested.
Are there any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Move to be approved.
Second?
Second.
Vote? Thank you. Item number 145 is a presentation of proposed county improvements for roads and bridges, 5-year work plan by Ms. Williams.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'm pleased to present for your approval the 2020 CIRB 5-year work plan. This updated work plan is developed in conjunction with the circuit engineering districts and represents the highest priority projects in each county. Revenues from the motor vehicle registration fund the county improvements for roads and bridges. These funds provide an avenue for counties to improve infrastructure as well as leverage an additional $214 million in federal and tribal funds. The $979 million 5-year plan includes the replacement of 375 bridges, including 179 that are structurally deficient or functionally obsolete. 29 of those bridges utilize the recycled crosstown beams, and there are 806 miles of county roadways to be improved as part of this plan. Approval of item 145, the 2020 CIRB 5-year work plan is recommended.
Are there any questions on this recommendation? You've heard the recommendation for approval. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Vote. Item number 146. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, at this point, I would like to recognize Gene Wallace with the Association of County Commissioners of Oklahoma and ask him to come up with your permission and address the commission related to the approval of the CIRB plan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, Commission members. You know, first of all, we appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning to share one short story, and also appreciate the effort that you put into the study of the SERB program. You know, as commission members around the state, you're just as big a stakeholder in our success and progress as virtually any of the rest of the elected officials in the state of Oklahoma. By way of history, the counties for the state of Oklahoma have absolute responsibility for over 13,606 bridges in our state, over 87,000 miles of road. Of the bridges, 1 in 5 is considered deficient structurally. So it's a huge problem for the state of Oklahoma. You know, as the counties across the state of Oklahoma, and I had the honor of being an elected county commissioner for 16 years in Muskogee County prior to representing all the counties within the state of Oklahoma. And as a product of that, our encouragement by our new governor as far as being in pursuit as one of the top 10 states in the nation, we are all in on that issue. We've got a long ways to go, but we've come a long ways. Through your participation as commission members and as a commissioner, and I'm sorry Commissioner Coburn's not here, but he's a personal friend. Every commission member that I had, I knew by first name, their family, and spent social time with them. And I hope you have the same experience with the county commissioners across your state. But as a part of the history of how the SERB program actually came into existence, the legislature and their vision established in 2007 established the CIRB fund itself. Virtually all the funding for the state of Oklahoma and the counties comes from motor vehicle taxes or transfer taxes for transportation needs across the state of Oklahoma. Since the inception in 2007, your predecessors and you have approved a plan that is enhanced and improved over $900 million worth of structurally deficient bridges across the state of Oklahoma. This would have never happened. But the bridge that I'm going to share with you shortly here this morning is, as a county commissioner, when I came into office, the things that keeps county commissioners and elected officials who were my state representative and senators awake at night. The bridge that you see depicted on the screen was a 791-foot bridge. This bridge was a historical bridge. As a point of interest, this was the exact embarking point from Washington Irving in 1829 when he started his tour of the prairies, and his journal is a product of that. But this bridge was built in 1926, 791 foot long, 1-lane bridge. I would lay awake at night looking at a 54-passenger school bus full of children crossing this bridge at twice what the load limit was posted on the bridge. Bridges like this, along with other bridges, are the type of structures that could never, ever be addressed on a local level. This bridge was so significant in the fact that I had to work with multiple agencies, not exclusive including, but the Corps of Engineers, because this crossed a major river in the state of Oklahoma, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, 2 counties, a town, and the Historical Society. This bridge was selected as the #1 bridge in 2007 in eastern Oklahoma to be replaced. It took from 2007 and me working with this virtually every week into 2015 for this bridge to actually be completed and opened. Now we have a two-lane bridge that services 2 communities, 2 counties, approximately 5,000 acres of farm field. The economic injury of the state of Oklahoma has always been soil, oil, and toil. And if we can't get things from either the farm to the market, or the workers to the jobs, or the energy to the user, that's the engine that drives our state. But being responsible for 87,000 miles of road and 13,000 bridges, you can see the demand that's put on counties across the state. The counties are in existence primarily because they're enacted in the Constitution of the state of Oklahoma. We are a subpart of the state of Oklahoma. And without the cooperation and assistance for the Oklahoma Department of Transportation and the efforts that you put forth as commission members, our job would be much, much harder. But we've just begun. This $900 million investment that we've made across the state for roads and bridges, from the day that bridge is built and that road is completed, is the best day of its life. The next day is the day it starts deteriorating. And so to protect the investment for the shareholders across the state of Oklahoma, and to keep in concert with our new governor and his pursuit of top 10, critical dollars for M&O just to preserve what we've already made the investment for on behalf of our state is critically needed. We're working and embarked on a new conversational thread directly with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation to try to find the dollars for maintenance and operation of these critical structures. So with that, I appreciate the time that you've given us this morning, and I'm open for any questions or comments you might have.
Are there any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Along that line, item number 146 is a presentation of asset preservation plan. And I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Nugent.
Members of the commission, item 146 is the asset preservation plan. The department has completed the proposed asset preservation plan with consideration for the critical needs of Oklahoma's transportation infrastructure and the financial constraint mandated by the projected federal and state funding availability. The work plan is balanced by district within the budgetary limitations of state fiscal years 2020 through 2023. The encompassed projects have been defined, validated, and included in accordance with the transportation needs and priorities of the state. This item is for information only and no commission action is required. However, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? I appreciate your report and thank you for being here.
Item 147 is the 8-year construction work plan. The department has completed the proposed 8-year construction work plan with consideration for the critical needs of Oklahoma's transportation infrastructure and the financial constraint mandated by the projected federal and state funding availability. The work plan is balanced by district within the budgetary limitations of federal fiscal years 2020 through 2027. The encompassed projects have been defined, validated, and included in accordance with the transportation needs and priorities of the state. The department will ensure the long-term budgetary integrity of the plan and the continuity of the projects through the active management of the project development and delivery process. Commission approval of the 2020 through 2027 construction work plan is recommended.
I have a motion for approval.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Thank you. Didn't mean to try to run you off early a while ago. At this time, we'll have the director's report.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the approval of the 8-year construction work plan and the asset preservation plan really represents the department's annual effort to make sure that the public understands where we're investing their dollars. and how we're managing their transportation system. This 8-year plan, we've got an emphasis in it on performance metrics, and that's due to Governor Stitt's vision and his efforts to make state government more effective, more efficient, and more accountable. And that focus really is kind of a three-pronged focus. Structurally deficient bridges has been a major focal point for the department for many, many years, and it'll continue to be. And we've made tremendous progress, and we fully expect to meet our goal of having less than 1% of our bridges be structurally deficient in the very near future. And I would be willing to tell you that based on our progress we're going to make over the course of calendar year 2019, in our next report, I'll be surprised if we don't make it into the top 10 in the country. I think the state of Oklahoma is progressing faster than most all other states in our efforts to make sure that our bridge infrastructure is in good condition. We also are focusing on rural 2-lane highways that have deficient shoulders. The rural 2 lanes that we have in Oklahoma serve us very well, but we have some of our worst severity rate and fatality rates out on those highways, and many times that's simply due to a lack of a shoulder. You develop an edge drop-off off the edge of pavement over time, and that edge drop-off can result in lane departure accidents. Certainly if you overcorrect and oversteer back into oncoming traffic, those result in some terrible, terrible accidents. And also, you certainly can overcorrect and roll your vehicle. So again, we've had a focus on rural 2-lane highways. We're trying to make a difference there, and we will continue to make investments in those infrastructure issues and make improvements. And the obvious area that we've got is pavement condition. And pavement condition is that ride that you feel in the seat of your pants as you travel our highways. And pavement condition is something that's really, really important to us. Our pavements are not where we would like for them to be, but it is an emphasis area, and we are going to move towards a goal of making some improvements on our pavement conditions, hopefully increasing the condition of pavements that are in good condition by about 10% over the next 4 years. So again, we've got some goals that we're working hard to achieve. We'll continue to work hard on those. And the construction work plan includes critical needs that are being addressed all across the state, whether that's in Division 6, whether that's in Division 2, or anywhere in the state of Oklahoma. We've got extremely important, and you discussed some of them today, the Interstate 44 and the US 75 interchange is a prime example of that. The department has to phase a big project like that and really take it a piece at a time to be able to make the type of improvement there that is needed. But though we've got projects like that spread all across the state, and the 8-year plan, again, is our mechanism to be able to work with the commissioners, make sure you understand how we're making our investments, and really communicate with the public and our legislature and the governor's office about how we're doing, what our plans are, and again, most importantly, to measure our performance back against our goals. I've been with the department since we did our first 8-year work plan in 2003, and I'll tell you the progress that we've made. That first work plan in 2003 was entirely funded with federal dollars because we did not have state dollars available to us to invest in that type of construction. We were barely able to cover routine maintenance. Because of the increased investment that we've had due to the legislature, we have been able to improve those conditions, and today's 8-year work plan, we are about a 50-50 mix between state funding and federal funding. So again, much of the progress that we have made to this point, especially coming from a condition where we had 1,168 structurally deficient bridges out on the highway system, to the last report that said we had 131, that progress is due to the additional investment that we've been able to make. Our asset preservation plan is a good mix also of state and federal funds. Those projects are intended to extend the life cycle of our pavements. So rather than getting into a condition of the pay me now, pay me later, we can make it timely investments in asset preservation that extend the life of our highways and our bridges. And that's been something that's really, really important. In 2003, that asset preservation program didn't exist. And again, it gives us the ability to diversify our investment strategy and make sure that we're getting the most out of our transportation infrastructure by investing in the right types of improvements at the right time. I'd also express my appreciation to you for your approval of the CIRB program. That program is a prime example of state government working directly with county government to make critically needed improvements out there on the county road system that without this program and without that state investment, those improvements in the example of the Fort Gibson Bridge there that we just saw is a prime example of a project of the highest priority. Those are projects at the county level. They just can never gather up enough resources to be able to make an improvement like that. And again, we're happy to be a part of that. We appreciate your approval and look forward to many years of working with the counties to continue to accomplish those types of projects. We had some speed limit revisions this morning that we looked at. Many of those, as you might notice, are school zone adjustments. And I'd like to congratulate our field division engineers and certainly our other engineering areas, Chad Penley with traffic engineering, that were intimately involved in bringing those work zones forward. The guys are identifying some ways to work more effectively and efficiently in the context of how we manage those school zones and work with the communities. And those are an example of what you've seen today of that effort in progress. You'll see more of those as we go forward into the future. I'd also acknowledge that the third full week of October, this week, is National School Bus Safety Week. So we want to highlight that. We want to also highlight that school zone safety is a top priority for ODOT and certainly for our local communities that we work with every day. And want to encourage the traveling public to pay attention to the signage that's out there. Be careful as you approach a bus stop, especially if they've got their stop signs extended. Stop, look out for kids that might be in the area, and put away your distractions and really pay attention. I'd also report that we had Dan Hillenbrand with us a couple of weeks ago out of Senator Inhofe's office. Senator Inhofe is the tremendous supporter that the state of Oklahoma has in our congressional delegation for infrastructure investment. All of our delegation is extremely supportive, but Dan is the staffer on Senator Inhofe's staff that really we interact with quite often. And he was able to come down to Oklahoma and spend a day with us, looking at some infrastructure improvements, talking about the critical needs that Oklahoma has on our transportation system. And I really wanted to express our appreciation to him for being able to take the time to come and sit down with us, understand a little bit more about the infrastructure needs that Oklahoma has, and to give us some time to just visit with him. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And again, I would appreciate want to express our appreciation for your approval of the 8-year construction work plan. If I might offer, Commissioner Shannon and Commissioner Coburn had unavoidable scheduling conflicts, or they would have been here with us to support the plan, and be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Secretary, do you happen to recall, plus or minus 100 million, what the federal funding level was in 2003?
You're going to make
Secretary Ridley or Secretary Patterson?
You're going to make me reach way back, but
Yeah,
I'm
way
going to
back.
tell you it was probably in the range of 200 to 250 million
My goodness.
that we had to invest in the work plan, and that was annually.
And no help from the state, $200 million.
Our state funding was entirely dedicated to our routine maintenance program, and we worked really hard to make sure that we had some level of resources that we were dedicating to at least some level of routine maintenance. But quite frankly, the transportation system at that particular moment in time was very worrisome, very deficient, far worse than it is today. You might say that we were keeping it together with Band-Aids and baling wire, and we have come a long ways. We've got work to do, even with structurally deficient bridge infrastructure. We have to be diligent. We've got to continue to invest in our bridges because we've still got more than 1,000 that are out there on the transportation on the highway system alone that are 80 years old or more. So our work, we've got work left to do, but we've made tremendous progress, and that progress has come at the capability provided by the additional investment. It's just that simple. So we'll continue to stay focused.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? I want to make a comment. We're all new, except one person up here, and it's been really exciting to get to sit in the meetings prior to this meeting and see what a hardworking, dedicated group of people are here. And I want to make a plea to the audience. We don't pay anywhere near public scale of what we're paying the people here. Encourage our state legislature and our governor to give us more money. We continually lose talent to the private sector. And we have some of the most dedicated public servants, is what I think our staff is. That all of them could go to private sector and make a lot more money. They're just really dedicated to this cause. And I would like to have the support of the communities to increase what we're paying here. I don't know how you could pay them what they're really worth. It's really fun to sit and work with these guys on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. The department has dedicated men and women that work in civil service every day, and their number one priority and their number one interest is to make sure that you're traveling safely out there on our highway system. So thank you for your acknowledgement.
That's really obvious when you work with them. Any other comments?
I have one. I'd just like to say, take a second and really thank Division 4 and Division 5 for helping work on roads around our division. You know, it seems like when we're working on a project, they continue or start up and continue to improve those roads. It makes it so much nicer for us to get to Oklahoma City when we live plumb out to Woodward or over to Enid where we can go shopping over there. But I want to thank the other divisions that are around the Woodward division or Division 6 for all the hard work they do and you know, bringing their roads up to par too, as we're trying as hard as we can. And my only other thing, you know, actually, when we were talking about 75 and I-44, I was the one that brought it up a while ago. So if you do have any budget underruns under it, maybe you send that money to Division 6. We could use some extra shoulders and stuff out there.
Commissioner Alexander, to your point, the Highway 3-270 corridor has been a real focus for the department for a long time, as you know.
I know.
And the other divisions recognize the criticality of that corridor to the state of Oklahoma. We've done a great job of making sure we've got resources focused there, and we're making improvements. They're never fast enough.
I know it, and I know they're spending their money there, and I just wanted to personally say, I hope they understood, thank them very much for that. Thank you.
If there's no other comments, I pronounce this meeting adjourned. And thank you for, as an audience, for being here.
Gene, I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, okay, thank you, yeah. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll
Thank
make a
you.
motion.
Second.
All in favor? Sorry about that.